While the folks back home celebrate Valentine's Day of 1969 with their loved ones, the U.S. Marine Corps' 19-year-old sniper ace, Charles Chuck Mawhinney, is stuck deep in the sweltering Vietnamese jungle with just his spotter for company. The two men have been hiding out in the pitch-black darkness for several grueling hours at a carefully chosen ambush position over the Thu Bon River, nervously awaiting a large North Vietnamese Army formation reported to be storming towards them. Tense with anticipation, Mawhinney feels the weight of his new semi-automatic M14 rifle in his sweaty hands, a far cry from his usual bolt-action Remington M40. Suddenly, the Marines sense movement down below. Using the M14's specially added starlight night vision scope, Mawhinney takes a closer look. Sure enough, it's an enemy scout checking out the river crossing. With the scout just 30 yards away and already in his crosshairs, instinctively, Mawhinney's finger reaches for the trigger. An easy shot like this is hard to pass up, but a gunshot now would give away his and his spotter's position and leave them desperately vulnerable. Instead, Mawhinney glances at his M14's 20-round magazine. Something tells him he will soon need every single bullet. Turning to his partner, Mawhinney smirks and whispers, quote, "You know, this might get real interesting." Just as every decision shaped Chuck Mawhinney's legacy, World of Warships Legends puts your strategy skills to the ultimate test. This free-to-play console game allows you to command history's most iconic warships and lead their high-stakes naval battles. This month, in honor of the 106th anniversary of the end of World War I, the game is offering a special lineup of authentic vessels at exclusive prices. Take the helm of ships like Oklahoma, Agincourt, or Texas, each brought to life with precise details that history buffs will surely notice. And for a limited time only, complete a mission with German or British ships to unlock the feared and legendary Von der Tann, the pride of the German Navy that changed the course of the Battle of Jutland. World of Warships Legends features over 400 ships from 11 nations, including Pan-American vessels and an endless array of destroyers, cruisers, battleships, and aircraft carriers. Plus, new content arrives every 5 weeks. But don't fret. Even though there's a lot to explore, the game is easy to learn, and you'll be joining a community of over 8 million players. What are you waiting for? New players can currently claim a welcome pack featuring Battleship Arkansas and Cruiser Karlsruhe, 7 days of premium access and 5 crates, plus 10 red, white, and blue camouflages and 10 hunter camouflages. Are you ready to command your fleet? Click the link in the description and dive into the action with World of Warships Legends. Charles Benjamin Mawhinney was born on June 19, 1949, in Lakeview, Oregon. Growing up in a rural setting, he developed a passion for hunting at a young age. He later said, quote, "When I was a kid, anything that crawled or flew was fair game." Mawhinney's father, a Marine Corps veteran of World War II, taught him how to shoot and instilled in him a deep respect for firearms. However, as a teenager, Mawhinney developed a rebellious streak, explaining, quote, "I like to fight a little and race motorcycles, sometimes with the cops chasing me." With the Vietnam War in full swing by the time he graduated from high school in 1967, Mawhinney saw an opportunity to channel his aggression while avoiding further trouble with the law. Initially planning to enlist in the U.S. Navy, he accidentally joined the Marine Corps line at the recruitment office. Inquiring if he was in the right place to sign up with the Navy, he was quickly given an answer by the Marine gunnery sergeant, who yelled, quote, "Get the hell out of my line. Get the hell over there with the girls." It was enough to make Mawhinney think he might have been in the right line after all. When he finally got to the front, the Marine recruiter told him he could wait until after deer hunting season to go to boot camp. It was all he needed to hear. Looking back, he admitted that it was, quote, "kind of ironic, given where I went and what I did." Mawhinney's natural marksmanship skills quickly caught the attention of his superiors during basic training. He was selected to attend the Marine Corps Scout Sniper School at Camp Pendleton, California. On the wall of the school was written an ancient Chinese proverb, echoing the tactical power of a sniper, saying that taking only one life could, quote, "terrorize 1,000. The training was rigorous. Mawhinney honed his skills with the Remington M40 bolt-action rifle, the primary weapon of Marine snipers in Vietnam. He learned to make rapid calculations for wind speed, distance, and bullet drop, skills that would prove crucial in the jungles of Southeast Asia. He also studied fieldcraft, camouflage, and how to remain undetected in hostile territory. In 1968, Private Mawhinney was deployed to Vietnam with the 1st Battalion, 5th Marines, 1st Marine Division. He arrived during a period of extremely intense fighting following the Tet Offensive. With casualties quickly stacking up, Lima Company, to which Mawhinney was assigned, was down to just 65 able-bodied soldiers, around half its usual strength. In this dire situation, the company was more worried about getting together enough standard infantrymen than incorporating specialized roles such as snipers. Though eager to put his marksmanship training into practice, Mawhinney would first have to put in his time as a regular Marine foot soldier. Though he accepted the decision, he knew his true talent was going to waste. After 3 months, he'd had enough. Faking a toothache so he could go to the regimental headquarters at the An Hoa combat base, he walked straight past the dental unit and instead went to see Master Gunnery Sergeant Mark Limpick, the head of the Scout Sniper teams. After spending 3 days begging Limpick to be allowed to join, he was eventually accepted. Finally, he was going to be able to do what he'd come for. Though Mawhinney had been sharpshooting since he was a child, the dense jungles and rice paddies of Southeast Asia presented a stark contrast to the open landscapes of Oregon, where Mawhinney had learned to hunt. What's more, targeting human prey would require a tougher psychological perspective. Where other soldiers often gunned down the enemy in chaotic firefights without ever getting a good look at them, snipers would get close-ups of their unsuspecting victims' faces through their scopes before pulling the trigger. Mawhinney was taught to detach himself from his targets by Corporal Cliff Albury, to whom he was assigned as an apprentice in a 2-man sniper team. As Mawhinney progressed from the spotter role to being allowed to take shots himself, Albury would remind him that as snipers, they were simply doing what they were paid to, and they'd need to do so effectively if they were to survive. Referring to the Vietnamese soldiers he had to neutralize, Mawhinney later explained, quote, "Once I had a Charlie in my scope, it was my job to eliminate him before he eliminated me." Mawhinney quickly developed a reputation for remaining calm under pressure and possessing an almost supernatural ability to detect enemy movement at great distances, even through thick foliage. He remarked, quote, "When you fire, your senses start going into overtime. Eyes, ears, smell, everything. Your vision widens out so you see everything, and you can smell things like you can't at other times." His superiors noted how well his attitude complemented his talent for sharpshooting. Master Gunnery Sergeant Limpick observed, quote, "Chuck was extremely aggressive. He could run a half-mile, stand straight up, and shoot offhand and drop somebody at 700 yards. I had a lot of guys who did nothing but bellyache, but Chuck never complained." With his sniping successes quickly mounting, Mawhinney soon became a mentor himself, showing the ropes to several less experienced marksmen and sharing with them the same advice Corporal Albury had given him. Mawhinney's fellow Marines began to rely on his keen eye and steady hand to keep them safe during patrols. On one mission, his unit was tasked with defending the strategically vital Liberty Bridge on the Thu Bon River. Mawhinney and his sniping teammate positioned themselves on a hill overlooking the bridge. Scanning the landscape through his scope, Mawhinney's keen eye caught an unusual movement in a far-off rice paddy almost 1,500 yards away. Upon closer inspection, he identified 4 Viet Cong operatives conducting reconnaissance on the bridge. The distance separating him from his prey was enormous, but rather than writing it off as impossible, Mawhinney saw his chance for the shot of a lifetime. Taking a deep breath, he steadied his rifle and squeezed the trigger. Yet it was no good. The bullet fell wide of the mark. Mawhinney was undeterred. Determined to strike his target, he swiftly recalibrated his aim and fired again. This time, the shot was perfect, taking out the Viet Cong with immaculate precision. But Mawhinney wasn't done yet. Turning his sights on the next man, he unleashed another round. A smile of satisfaction spread across the sniper's face as the target dropped to the ground like a sack of Vietnamese rice. The remaining 2 Viet Cong, realizing their peril, made a desperate dash for the nearby tree line. However, their escape was cut short as a U.S. helicopter gunship, alerted to their presence, neutralized them with a burst of fire. This impressive feat would go down in Mawhinney's record as his longest confirmed sniper victory, cementing his reputation as one of the most skilled sharpshooters in Vietnam. By February 14, 1969, Mawhinney was assigned to Delta Company of the 1st Battalion, 5th Marines, which had just set up a defensive position by the Thu Bon River. Word came through of an incoming enemy formation. Having switched his usual M40 for a semi-automatic M14 with a state-of-the-art starlight scope, Mawhinney led his spotter through the pitch-black darkness as they silently made their way to a carefully chosen ambush position overlooking the river. After hours of waiting, they finally spotted a North Vietnamese scout cautiously approaching the river. Though tempted to take the shot, Mawhinney held fire, knowing bigger prey was yet to come. Sure enough, a few minutes later, his scope revealed a chilling sight. Dozens of North Vietnamese Army regulars emerging from the shadows, their rifles held high as they waded into the Thu Bon River. This was the moment Mawhinney had been waiting for. Mawhinney's muscles tensed, his finger hovering over the trigger. He steadied his breathing, waiting for the perfect moment. As the first enemy soldier reached the river's midpoint, Mawhinney squeezed the trigger. The M14 barked, its muzzle flash briefly illuminating their position. The lead soldier dropped instantly, disappearing beneath the murky water. With one enemy down, if Mawhinney were to avoid detection, he knew he'd have to work fast. As the unsuspecting North Vietnamese soldiers marched on, the sniper's finger danced on the trigger, each pull sending another round downrange with perfect accuracy. Harnessing the devastating power of the M14, he could pick off his targets at a velocity that the M40 would never have allowed. Soldier after soldier fell, their comrades unaware of the danger until it was too late. Within seconds, 16 enemy combatants had been neutralized with as many rounds, all with precise shots to the head. The remaining troops frantically sought cover from Mawhinney's lethal onslaught. Having regrouped, the NBA quickly identified the Marines' position and unleashed a furious barrage. As bullets whizzed past and thudded into the foliage around them, Mawhinney and his spotter swiftly and silently extracted from their position, disappearing into the jungle as quickly as they had arrived, their mission accomplished. As dawn broke, the full impact of Mawhinney's nocturnal marksmanship became clear. The planned enemy assault had been completely derailed, and the Thu Bon River crossing remained firmly in American hands. In just one night, the teenage sharpshooter had gone from a rising star to a full-blown legend. As Mawhinney's sniping spree continued, there was little doubt that he had neutralized an impressive number of enemy soldiers, but at the time, nobody knew exactly how many, least of all Mawhinney himself. Despite his remarkable skill as a marksman, he always strongly opposed the idea of snipers keeping personal body counts. In fact, when a platoon leader attempted to set up a sniping scoreboard, Mawhinney fiercely objected, saying it would push the men to become overly competitive and take foolish risks to increase their tallies. The view was shared by the unit's senior officers, and the board was taken down. However, his reluctance to receive recognition certainly did not mean he did not enjoy his job. He later explained, quote, "It was the ultimate hunting trip. A man hunting another man who was hunting me. Don't talk to me about hunting lions or elephants. They don't fight back with rifles and scopes. I just loved it." He took such pleasure in sniping that, while the average tour of duty in Vietnam was 13 months, Mawhinney asked for an extension to continue his work. His request was granted, but Mawhinney's superiors were concerned that he was relishing his work a little too much and began questioning his mental state. Master Gunnery Sergeant Limpick admitted, quote, "I used to worry about him cracking up. Some guys would come back almost in tears. Chuck would be laughing. Maybe he was trying to cover up his feelings." After 16 months in Southeast Asia, it was decided that it would be best for Mawhinney to return to the United States. Mawhinney briefly gave shooting classes at Camp Pendleton, but with no desire to be seen as a hero, he left the Marines with the rank of sergeant in 1970 for a peaceful existence in his native rural Oregon, where he married and had 3 children. Working on a road maintenance crew with the Forest Service, he never spoke of his experience in the war, not even to his close friends and family. Instead, he preferred to maintain a low profile while trying to forget about his days in Vietnam. 20 years passed, and it seemed that this remarkable rifleman was set to drift into obscurity, his story lost to time, just the way he wanted it. However, in 1991, Mawhinney's quiet life was unexpectedly shattered when he was unwillingly thrust into the spotlight. Fellow Marine sniper Joseph Ward finally brought Mawhinney's wartime actions to light in his book, Dear Mom, A Sniper's Vietnam. This resurgence of interest led to an investigation of Marine Corps records. After more than 20 years, Mawhinney's extraordinary tally was revealed. During his 16 months in Vietnam, Mawhinney had accumulated an astounding 103 confirmed victories, with another 216 listed as probable, making him the most lethal sniper in the entire history of the U.S. Marine Corps. Suddenly, everybody wanted to talk to Mawhinney. At first, he was unhappy about the attention and was reluctant to discuss his role in the war. However, he gradually began to share his experiences, hoping to change public perceptions about snipers and their role in combat. When asked about his record, Mawhinney responded he didn't think of it as taking the lives of 103 people, and instead, quote, "I look at it like I saved 103 Americans." Set sail with World of Warships Legends, the perfect way to unwind after a long day. Click the link in the description to claim your welcome pack, including the Arkansas and Karlsruhe ships, 7 days of premium time, 5 crates, and 2 unique camouflage sets. Join us at World of Warships Legends today.